In ancient Persia, during the reign of the powerful King Xerxes, a young Jewish woman named Esther emerges as a central figure in one of the most notable stories of courage and redemption. Orphaned and raised by her cousin Mordecai, Esther is thrust into the epicenter of Persian politics when, through a series of providential events, she becomes queen. Esther's beauty and grace win the king's heart, but it is her intelligence and bravery that truly define her legacy. Esther's story is not just a tale of rising from obscurity to royalty, but also a narrative of resistance against oppression and the struggle for her people's survival. As the plot unfolds, we see Esther facing immense challenges, including a deadly conspiracy plotted by Haman, the ambitious and wicked minister of the king, who plans to exterminate all the Jews in the empire. With the threat of genocide imminent, Esther must make risky decisions and stand courageously to save her people. This story, celebrated annually during the Feast of Purim, teaches us about the importance of faith, identity, and the power of a single individual to make a difference in times of adversity. In ancient Persia, a vast empire stretching from India to Ethiopia, lived a Jewish community that, despite its dispersion, maintained its traditions and faith. During the reign of Xerxes, also known as King Xerxes, the Persian court was a place of intrigue and opulence. King Xerxes, famous for his sumptuous feasts and volatile temperament, deposed his queen Vashti after she refused an order from him. This act precipitated the search for a new queen, an event that would alter the course of history for the Jews of Persia. In this context of luxury and power, Esther, an unknown young Jewish woman, enters the scene. Raised by her cousin Mordecai, Esther was known for her beauty and grace, but also for her wisdom and courage. The stage was set for a series of events that not only challenged Esther to reveal her true identity, but also to use her position to protect her people from imminent destruction. The Persian court, with its grand rituals and complex politics, served as the backdrop for a story of faith and redemption. When King Xerxes ordered the search for a new queen, thousands of young women were brought to the palace to participate in a lengthy selection process. Esther, hiding her Jewish identity on Mordecai's advice, stood out among all the others due to her beauty and grace. After a year of preparations and beauty treatments, Esther was presented to the king. Xerxes was immediately enchanted by her, crowning her as Queen of Persia. Despite her new position, Esther remained humble and continued to follow Mordecai's advice. Meanwhile, at the court, Haman, an ambitious and cruel man, rose to power as the king's principal minister. Haman despised Mordecai, who refused to bow down to him, and began plotting his revenge. Esther's ascent to the throne seemed like a fairy tale, but the challenges and trials she would soon face revealed her true strength and determination. Esther was destined to use her position of power, not for her own benefit, but for the salvation of her people. Haman, now the most powerful man in the kingdom after the king, was driven by his pride and hatred. Offended by Mordecai's refusal to bow to him, Haman conceived a diabolical plan to exterminate all the Jews in the Persian Empire. With cunning, he convinced King Xerxes to sign a decree authorizing the massacre of all Jews in a single day. The decree, sealed with the king's ring, became an irrevocable law of the kingdom. The news of the edict caused great distress among the Jews, who found themselves on the brink of annihilation. Mordecai, upon learning of the plan, dressed in sackcloth and ashes, signaling mourning and despair, and cried out to God for mercy. He knew that the only hope for his people lay in Esther, now the queen. Haman's conspiracy was not only a physical threat, but a direct attack on the Jews' identity and faith. Haman underestimated the power of courage and faith, traits that Esther would soon demonstrate with decisive and courageous actions. Mordecai, upon discovering Haman's malicious plan, approached Esther to alert her to the imminent danger. He sent an urgent message to the queen, begging her to use her influence with the king to save the Jewish people. Esther, aware of the unalterable laws of Persia that prohibited anyone from approaching the king without being summoned, knew that her life would be at risk if she attempted to intervene. However, Mordecai reminded her that her destiny to become queen might have been precisely for this crucial moment. With these words, "And who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Mordecai awakened in Esther a sense of purpose and courage. Esther asked Mordecai and the Jews of Susa to fast and pray for her for 3 days. She and her maids also fasted. This period of fasting and prayer was a time of spiritual preparation for Esther, who was about to risk everything to save her people. The unwavering faith of Mordecai and Esther became the cornerstone of their resistance against Haman's conspiracy. After 3 days of fasting and prayer, Esther prepared to face the ultimate challenge. Dressed in her royal robes, she entered King Xerxes' presence uninvited, an act that could have resulted in her death. However, upon seeing her, the king extended his golden scepter, signaling his acceptance and favor. With wisdom and humility, Esther invited the king and Haman to a banquet she would prepare. During the first banquet, Esther delayed her request, inviting them to a second banquet the following day. This delay was a calculated strategy, giving her time to gain the king's trust and prepare the ground for her revelation. Meanwhile, Haman, still ignorant of Esther's plan, was elated by the queen's favor, but also enraged by Mordecai. That night, the king had a providential insomnia and ordered the royal records to be read to him. He discovered that Mordecai had saved his life by exposing a previous conspiracy, but had never been rewarded. This event would be crucial for the events that would follow the next day. At the second banquet, Esther revealed to the king her true Jewish identity and exposed Haman's conspiracy to exterminate her people. Xerxes, furious at being deceived, left the banquet in a fit of rage. Haman, terrified, begged for his life from the queen, but his fate was already sealed. When the king returned, he found Haman fallen on the couch where Esther was reclining, interpreting this as an attack on the queen. He immediately ordered Haman to be hanged on the gallows he had prepared for Mordecai. This moment of reversal not only saved Esther, but also reversed the course of events for the Jews. Esther's courage in exposing the plot and the divine providence in the king's insomnia converged to turn a desperate situation into a resounding victory. Haman's conspiracy was destroyed, and he met the end he had planned for others. Esther and Mordecai not only survived, but were elevated to positions of greater influence and honor. With Haman's downfall, King Xerxes issued a new decree allowing the Jews to defend themselves against their enemies. Throughout the Persian Empire, the Jews armed themselves and united to protect their lives. On the appointed day of the massacre, the courage and faith of the Jews prevailed, and they defeated those who hated them. The victory was complete, and the enemies of the Jews were destroyed. Mordecai was promoted to a position of great power at the court, and his influence helped ensure the safety and well-being of his people. The Feast of Purim was instituted to celebrate this great victory, a celebration of joy and gratitude for the providential salvation. The story of Esther, Mordecai, and the Jews' victory became a lasting testimony to the power of faith and courage in the face of adversity. To this day, Purim is celebrated by Jews around the world, reminding everyone of the importance of standing against injustice and trusting in a higher power in times of need. Esther's story is a reminder that courage can change the course of history. Thank you for watching our narration of the story of Esther, one of the most inspiring biblical figures. Her courage and faith are powerful reminders that even in times of great adversity, it is possible to make a difference. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible Bible stories. Leave your comments below and tell us which other stories you would like to see. Esther's faith and courage continue to inspire millions around the world, and we hope her story has touched you as well. Until the next video, where we will continue to explore the timeless lessons of the Bible and bring more stories of faith, hope, and redemption. Have a blessed day, and may Esther's courage inspire your own daily actions. See you soon.